good afternoon, everybody. It's the Cryptid Huntress. I'm Jessica Jones. Welcome into a glitch in the matrix where we are going to get real glitchy today, y'all. I'm sure y'all have been seeing these videos of people whose eyes are glitching out and weird things are happening all around us, y'all. Is this CGI? Are they demons? Are they shapeshifters? What's going on? What's going on? We're going to find out today. Yeah, you know, your girl keeps her ear to the street, y'all. Okay. And I saw this video that kind of started going viral around yesterday. I think it was yesterday. And I jumped on it. I said, hey, let's do a show on this today. I've got Barry Litteton here in the studio today. And we're going to go deep into these shapeshifters today. Because, you know, we've talked about reptilian shapeshifters before. We've even been probably seeing, I know I have, I don't know about y'all, but I've been seeing videos of famous people like Katy Perry, like making her throat get all big like a frog. And like other people that are famous, they're glitching out and stuff, y'all. And so we're going to talk about that a little bit today too. But I do have 3 separate clips. I put it in the chat because y'all know I don't like to show videos on my channel from other channels. I don't want to get those copyright strikes. Okay, so I have them posted in the live chat. If you go up to the very top of the chat, we've got the Vice President Kamala Harris rally video. We're going to watch that. That's in there. I've also got the guy at the bar with, is it Foozy Tube or something? I don't know how to say that. Fauci Tube or Fousey Tube. The guy at the bar, that video is up there, and the orb that turns into a man. We've got that up there too. So y'all go check those out while you can. Okay, you can check them out while we're doing the show as well when we get to those. But I do want y'all to check those out. Okay, it's important. It's important. Okay. Well, it is Halloween. It's Halloween tomorrow. It's Halloween Eve. I hope you guys have a very safe Halloween. Okay, y'all, please be safe out there. A lot of us will be out there trick-or-treating and stuff. And I will be back tomorrow night. I do have a show for you guys at 8 p.m. tomorrow night, Eastern Standard Time. So I will see y'all again tomorrow night. But hey, let's get to our show today. We've got a lot to talk about. Now, of course, if you guys would like to follow along with my shows and stuff, y'all go check me out over at thecryptidhuntress.com for all of your Cryptid Huntress needs. Over there. So yeah, thecryptidhuntress.com. Also, I do have a Patreon if you guys would like to support my channel. It's a great way to do it. And those, all of my remote viewing information and my data goes onto that Patreon. So thank you to all my members. If you're a VIP member and you haven't sent me your address, please do. Okay. And I'll send you your gift for this month. And speaking of gifts, if y'all want a good gift, go to War Woman Goods on Etsy. And you can do your Christmas shopping with me, okay? And I'll throw in some Cryptid Huntress merch if you guys buy anything out of my shop. All right, I think I put my shop on sale. I think it's on sale right now too. So y'all go check that out. Also, y'all please go to Barry Littleton's YouTube channel and his Patreon and become a member of his Patreon as well, and subscribe to his channel. I'm sure my mods will be putting all these links up in the chat while we're at the live show. All right, let's get into these shapeshifters. Recently, which I found out today, it was actually 2 months ago. I dug and dug for this video, y'all, and I found it today. It's only 2 months old. I thought it was like yesterday. So recently at a Nevada presidential candidate rally, a person sitting directly behind Vice President Kamala Harris on the main stage starts glitching out with his eyes. It's maybe a she. I don't know. There's a person that's calling this person a woman. We're not sure. I think it's a man though. But they blink their eyes and their eyes start changing drastically. Now we're talking about let's think of my eyes and then think about my eyes rolling back in my head. All whites. Okay, all whites. Back and forth. Several times. Okay, the video is in the chat right now. They go from normal looking to completely white. Some believe this is the visual of an actual demonic entity. Now, we're not claiming this person is a demon, y'all. Okay, that's not what we're saying here. But that's what some people on TikTok and other social media sites are claiming. Others say that this is an alien hybrid. Of course, it could be something else. Maybe they are rolling their eyes back in their head. Maybe it's CGI. I don't know. I contacted my friend who's a CGI expert this morning, and we'll talk about that as well. The video has gone viral, and researchers have taken that video. They have changed the contrast on it. And so we're going to show pictures of that today as well, where you can actually see in the video that I posted in the live chat today how the eyes change. Okay. And yeah, you decide the authenticity, y'all, by watching the video. But other videos like this are popping up as well on social media at an alarming rate, in my opinion, from videos of men turning into dogs to orbs that turn into men and many others. So what's really going on, y'all? What's really going on? We know there are shapeshifters out there. We talk about them all the time. But now they're showing up on camera, even at live events. Okay. And I know some of us probably remember that video out of, I think it was when President Obama was in office, and there were Secret Service agents that looked like aliens. Okay. What's up, y'all? Okay. So to help me talk about this today, to have a really cool discussion, we have Barry Litteton here in this studio. Barry is a good friend of mine, an excellent researcher. He has a YouTube channel called Barry Litteton. So please go subscribe there and go to Patreon as well. And help me welcome to the stage today, my friend, Barry Litteton. Hi, Barry.
That's such an exciting YouTube name, isn't it? Hey, what's up?
Thanks
for having me.
It's easy to find.
I'll tell you, yeah, we got it. You know, a bad storm just happened here, and our internet's kind of going in and out. Hopefully, we'll be all right. Want to give a shout out. Thanks for having me on. Shout out to your audience. You know, I've had a few of your audience now that have been done sessions with me, clients, and all of them been really, really interesting and really, really good. So much shout out to everybody out there, and just thanks. I appreciate it. So there's somebody there. Oh, very cool. Thank you.
That's
yeah,
Maureen.
yeah. Another really good person there. Good session with them. You know, it's very cool. So thank you for that. And that's why, you know, one thing, like I was saying yesterday, you know, it's cool because the connection that we have and we've been doing has touched a lot of people, and it's starting to I'm starting to really hear it a lot now. So that's pretty cool. You know, it's one thing to put out the energy, but it doesn't always come back, at least not positively.
I know, right? Well, it's coming. I hear nothing but good things about you and all of your work too, especially with your hypnosis and your regressions that you do, because I have a lot of friends that have contacted you, and I just hear nothing but good stuff about it. So I highly recommend it. If any of y'all want to go get a session with Barry, email him. Look, it's right here. Actually, Andrew put it in the chat today. Barry Litteton13 at Gmail, y'all.
And you know, no matter how many of those I do, what modality, because I do regressions, past life or extraterrestrial contact, or Earthbound Spirits, release, rescue, we can call it a lot of times, and you know, things of that nature, and trauma release too. And no matter how many of them I do, I'm always blown away every single time. So I feel like I'm brand new every time. You know what I mean? So I think that's what is meant when you go into the higher realms you are as a child, because you're always in wonderment of the stuff that our consciousness can do, does do, and how much we're cheated as humans, and how we truly are these magical beings. And you start seeing that when you start going into the theta and the delta, you start seeing how you're really connected to everything. It's really a trip.
Yeah,
we wonder kind of why we're not like that all the time, you know?
I know, right? No, well, you know, speaking of the times today, this week, the veil is very thin between our world and the otherworldly at the moment. And I wanted to tell you this because I haven't talked to you about it yet, but earlier this week, I think it was Monday, might have been Monday or Sunday, I can't remember. I feel as though I helped cross over a spirit that was in my house, Barry. And that is it's not common for me to be doing things like that, not without the help of somebody in the past, you know, but I did that on, I think it was Sunday morning. I felt a presence in my home. It's a old lady that I'd seen before in the house. And something just told me, and I'm getting goosebumps right now. because somebody told me, you know, to ask if she needed help to cross over, and she did. And so I just closed my eyes and I visualized calling in my spirit guides and her spirit guides and helping her cross. And I talked to her a little bit, and they opened, it's basically like they opened a portal or something. It was really wild. Like I actually found myself like energetically like feeling like I was opening a portal, and it was wild. Like it was just kind of like going with the flow. You know what I mean? Like I didn't question it. And I felt like she went through, and she was happy and thanked me.
Now,
yeah.
I gotta ask, out of that portal,
I closed it.
Did you see light?
Go into the light, Carol Ann. I know, Carol Ann. No, I didn't call anything through as I was pushing her in there. Okay, like get in there. But I was like, look, you don't got to go home, but you can't stay here. Okay, you know, but no, I'm just kidding. It was with love and light.
On a serious note, I was joking a little bit. On a serious note, take pride in that, you know, because the amount of earthbound population here, I've said it before, it's more numerous than the living. And in a way, when you really start dealing with the earthbounds, you'd be surprised. And I'm not talking about the demonic. And we do have that portion of people that are so horrible in their life and make such bad decisions and hurt others that when they cross over and they die, they become something worse. You know, and they get stuck here. They're stuck here too. They're more almost demonic-like. But for the most part, you know, these earthbound spirits, they crossed fairly easy. They crossed fairly easy because they've been dying for somebody. Oh, that's a bad word. They've been really wanting to talk with somebody, and that's why they're merging with people. You know, and it's good work, and it's good for anybody that has that ability to encourage them to cross over. And sometimes it's all about your attitude. You know, I was trained in CBT, cognitive behavioral therapy. I approach it more like that than I do coming in as exorcist. And all that stuff, you know, that. And, you know, how do you like it when somebody approaches you like that and talks to you like that as a person? You don't.
Right.
These are people. You know what I mean? They may not have bodies anymore, but they're lost, and they're actually were once physical people. I say it before and I say it again. Something about the personality doesn't die during death. These invisible things that make us us. Feelings are invisible. The voices we hear are invisible. You know, this world is a twin world. We've got this world right here we're in, and your wonderful audience. It's so cool. I can't say that enough. Everybody talks about how cool your audience is, not just
Thank
me.
you. I know, right?
It's really well known. Yeah, I hear from a lot of people, and how it's not the traditional harsh, rude audience that most people have. And we both know the Bigfoot community is a little cutthroat there. Anyway, but there's two worlds here. You know, the world here that you and I are dealing with, we have awareness and consciousness with organism. Okay, that's how we exist. How most things here are. But on the other Earth's twin, you have those with awareness, perception, without organism. That's why we call them inorganic beings. And sometimes it's not the separate things that we want to make it. It's third, fourth, fifth dimension, which goes in with. And people say density, density. I say density. I use that when I use that. I'm using that in terms of volume, because I think the volume in some of those experiences on board some of those craft are not the same. It's a different density. And then as far as different dimension, the width, and it's coming and going. So I guess that's all bets off. But, you know, anyway, sorry, we're supposed to be talking about people rolling their eyes in their head.
Oh, no, I don't know what they're rolling their eyes in their head. What they're doing. I don't know what they're doing, Barry. You know, this is a perfect topic for Halloween. Okay, we're on Halloween Eve tonight. By the way, I will be on Hunting the Shadows tonight. Dennis is in the chat. Hey, Dennis, with Hunting the Shadows, and I will be his guest tonight, or his co-host, guest, whatever you want to call me. And we're going to do a little Halloween special. So y'all please come join us at 9 p.m. Eastern tonight over there. But I wanted to do, you know, I was trying to come up with like a really good show topic for today. And these videos kept popping up in my feed on social media. And I was like, whoa, I got to do a show on this. Were you, I know you weren't, because you were asking me about the video. So you weren't familiar with this video. I saw it for the first time yesterday. and it seemed to be at the Vice President Kamala Harris is having a rally. Turns out it was like 2 months ago. I've got the video pulled up on my computer. I'm scared to show the video because I don't want to get a copyright strike or anything here on YouTube. So I've got it in the comments over here in the live feed, live chat. But there's a person sitting behind her, Barry, who is, their eyes just like glitch out. And it's not like the regular, like where you see somebody like a news anchor on TV and like their eyes kind of shift a little bit and they turn like slit pupils. This is like full out just eyes. And when you, they just turn white, and it's like it's almost like something opens and shuts or something. It's just weird. It's not like they're not rolling back in this person's head. Okay, so what did you think about the video? I know you've seen it now. What are your thoughts? What are your thoughts?
Jones, how is it you always pull me into this stuff like this? It's always this demonic fashion. Okay, look. Okay, first of all, I can't help but laugh a little bit at the video. Okay, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I don't want anybody in the chat to get mad at me, please, or any of your audience. Nobody's. I find it a little bit comical. Okay, there's two things. One is this. All right, it's a very convenient. Okay, very convenient timing on that. Just happens to be standing behind a political person. It happens. What everyone would expect to see. Here's the other thing. Okay, and okay, I don't want to say I'm just throwing the baby out with the bathwater, because I don't know, all right, but I try to keep logical and not go so far into fantasy type stuff. And there are some things that people can do. Okay, when I say this, how many of you would know this when I go like this? Rest in peace.
Oh my God.
That's a cat. The Undertaker does that all the time.
I was going to ask if that was a wrestler.
That is think about it. He shows the whites of his eyes. And what that is, it's a type of nystagmus, or something else that's called Bell's phenomenon, not Bell's palsy, but Bell phenomenon, that actually causes the eyes to involuntarily roll up towards the top of the eyelids. It's a protection deal that the eyes will naturally do. Some people can do that naturally, like the Undertaker. Okay, and there's something else. I think it's tonic clonic seizures. That's where the eyes roll for different reasons too. But anyway, that's not just something that, and some people just do that involuntarily. So that can be a plant doing that. It can be somebody knows how to do it. Perfect time to do it when they're standing there. And that, I mean, then we've got the CGI problem. And I hate to say this, folks, but come on, CGI and quote unquote AI has just ruined almost everything, especially as far as the cryptids go and the UFOs. And I mean, everything now, the drones, it's so hard to tell what's real and what isn't now. You almost have to go back to things that come from the 80s, the 70s, and 60s to know. You know, I did something the other day, a live feed about this image right here, okay? And this is the 1941 Korean UFO picture. And I know this is real, okay? Not just by the year, but when I talk about this life energy that fuels these craft, okay? And how they do this process of converting what type, like they can pull out of water, life energy, almost for a better word, orgone, but I think it's more polarized and pure than that. And when they use that and start releasing that as a gravity modification field, don't like anti-gravity. If you really study science, it'd be gravity modification field. Okay, when they release that, and anytime that, when I can see these old pictures, I know if it's real, because you see that black void underneath it? That any of these pictures that go this far back, look for that black void underneath, because that conversion process, that orgone, that life energy has a negative effect on film emulsions and creates that black void. In this case here, look here. You see that? Yeah. They're releasing the anti-gravity field right there. You see it starting to spin around the skin of the craft. Sorry, the gravity modification field. And that's that black void you see up there. It's just starting, meaning it's about to take a frequency jump, okay, and become invisible to our field, our eyes, go through a Mako, go through a micro wormhole, hopefully not weaponized. Anyway, sorry, but this, just going back to this, things like that is keeping in the mind. But that there is, I mean, that, okay, now could it be a demon? Yes. Could it be a reptile? Yes. Could it be a guy, I'm saying, that could do these three things Yes, more likely. But I mean, we just have to keep these things. And right now, the public is very susceptible to all this type of things. And I don't want people to get so far off that they forget what consciousness is behind all this stuff. We have to deal with the consciousness, not the parlor tricks like this.
Yeah. Well, there's another show that I did a while back. I think Dennis might have been on the show with me. I can't remember, but there was a gentleman that was on TikTok, Hey Bell or something. I know that's a weird name. It's like they were like Hey Bell or something on TikTok, and he claimed that he had signed over his, I want to say caricature, like his character, like his face or whatever. Like he signed something with some lady he was dating or something. I forgot. She had a lot of money, and he signed something one day. He said he didn't know what he was signing. Well, he was allowing some company to use his face, like his picture, for something, and he didn't know what it was. And then he went to like the Rams football game or some football game,
brother,
and there were those robots there. One of them had his face. It had his face, and I was thinking, this is a topic that we've talked about a good bit here on the channel, and that's like robots. And somebody was mentioning, here it is, Jackie was mentioning Elon Musk, who I brought up in my last show too, because he was wearing that Baphomet, outfit on Halloween last year. We were talking about Satanic AI, okay, and we brought Elon into it. But I don't know. There could be robots out there too. I mean, we know there are. There are a lot of non-humans.
The guy doing that was a setup. You know that, right? That brother said, "I didn't know anything." He knew it. He was part of that whole deal. He got paid big time.
Probably so. I did reach out to him. I talked to him. I was going to bring him on the show, but
did he tell you that he was just a part of it?
Well, I think he wanted a donation. That's what he said. I was like, I don't have a donation fund, sweetie. Yeah. I was like, I can bring you on, but I don't have a donation fund. So it was that made it a little more, I was like, I don't need him to come on.
But when it does come to the new technology, not just Elon, because I know there's that brother on it's not TikTok, it's like the Instagram brother, and he says, I work at this factory, I work for such and such, I work for all these different places, and he talks about the shift that he's on 12 hours a day and how these robots can be taking most people's jobs. And I don't think that's one necessarily fake either. You know what I mean? But there are other factions such as those Japanese cybernetists that are doing those newer robots. There's been a few of them. One of them was, it was melanin dominant, the black woman. And she talked, was very interactive, but they've got two more that are more advanced than her. I can't remember the names of them. I want to say they're both female, I do believe. Maybe one of them's male, but they're very interactive, very interactive. And when you start looking at things like targeted dream incubation technology, how they're actually molding our dreams, and actually, like right now, we just see that in terms of, we look at our phone, you see something for Taco Bell or something, you're craving Taco Bell or something weird. They're doing that and watching us in that way. But in reality, that's the beginning of targeted incubation dream technology, which means they actually are turning dreams into memories, those memories into reality. That's where things start getting really, really sketchy. And when you start looking at that, they're actually trying to map and put Google into an artificial brain. They've been trying to map Google into a brain. That's why they've been mapping the brain the way they are currently. You start looking at stuff like that, and actually neuroscience and where it's going, and neuroweaponry. It's kind of scary.
It's very, what is that, like voice to brain technology or something like that too? It's
the voice of God technology, V2K technology. Yeah. And that just goes on top of what the dark is always doing. Real quick, okay, I talk about this a lot. We've got the negative self, which so much of our energy goes to. Then that gets fractured by trauma and decisions we make during trauma, which turns into negative identities, which is how the negative self breaks down, and tons of our energy goes into that. Okay, tons of that. And then you've got something else. You've got the fact that the negative self and the negative identities use our own voice and give us negative thoughts. And then you've got these external forces, these negative or inorganic beings, they're invisible, that come in as voices, and they sound like your own voice too. And it starts driving people into schizophrenia. It's very serious. So that's something that the dark forces are already doing naturally. these inorganic beings. Now we've got the dark forces that are in human form that are putting technology behind it, compounding it.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, and I'm not a target individual, thank God. I don't think you are either, thank God. So I'm not experienced that, but I've talked to many people that have, and I'm glad I'm not having that. I'm good.
I know it's really terrible that, because you know we think that we should be able to just, you know, live our lives, everybody leave us alone, let us all be free and do our own thing, but it's like there's just forces, and I'm just going to say like the dark forces that just want to control, and you know, there's just a bigger picture to it, and a lot of it could boil down also to that satanic AI that we talked about last week. I don't know. I mean, I what else could it be? And you know, and the theory behind that, according to, you know, David Wilcock and my friend Nick Sylvester that came on the show, they're saying that it could be, and I know you're not too big on the negative extraterrestrials, even though they do exist. And so they say that there's like a group that like brings Satanism onto other planets. Like it's just really dark. And that's what happened in this case, is what they're saying.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. We're evidence of that here.
Yeah.
And more to the point, the targets that you've got, I know it's in a remote viewing show, but the Trappist one was one, you know, again, so many of these times that I get more, if I'm biting into an apple, I'm getting much more than what I bargained for. But I mean, you picked up on the slavery thing that ties into Tony's whole thing, you know, and not just that, it ties into William Tompkins. William Tompkins talking about how in the Milky Way in particular, there's a problem with slavery. And more than even most of the other galaxies. It's like much worse here in terms of you have these factions with advanced technology that are completely satanic, demonic. And that's this whole, you know, when you look at this book here, and I was just talking to somebody about this book again, the Uranta book. And again, you know, I've got issues with this book, everybody does, but there's good information in it. But one of the things is it's written in such a Judeo-Christian type of fashion, and all the concepts are, well, not all of them, but a lot of them are put in that faction. So they talk about the Lucifer Rebellion, and they call this actually our galaxy. They call this satanic. Not satanic. It's like a Satan type of galaxy. They call it, but it's a word they use in there. Satania. Sorry, Satania, because they say that Lucifer is locked away in these prison planet. He's locked away, but Satan is a different entity that comes here to Earth and moves around on Earth. And I found it very fascinating with your boy, Ed Dames, did his remote viewing of Lucifer. And he said that. He said Lucifer was far away and they couldn't see him clearly, and to a degree that he was in some prison planet. According to this book, these prison planets are around galactic center. They've got names for them, type of mansion worlds that are not the ones we ascend to, but ones that are prison planets in that area. And there's like, I think they says 4 or 5 of them. Supposedly he's there. And then that's what Dame said, but they saw, you know, Satan moving around here on Earth in some factory. And I do believe that, you know, and what's worse is, of course, it's a light being, a brilliant light being moving around in one of these factories that's doing this. And these things you've seen these laboratories underground that are going back, God, thousands and thousands of years.
Yeah.
So I don't want to repeat everything we've already talked about, but all this ties right in. And this here is the demonic faction, so it's not too far off, you know?
That's right. Well, could that factory, was it Ed Dames? You said that he's the one that remote viewed that, Lucifer, right? Satan, Lucifer. Could that be at Lucifer? Could that factory actually be down in Antarctica, and that's Lucifer's Palace, where these people are claiming? David Wilcock said that he was actually briefed. Now, by whom? I have no idea. He didn't say by who briefed him, but he said in a briefing in 2021, he was told that, briefed that Lucifer lived at Lucifer's Palace, but it's actually an embodiment of, it's just an AI. It's the AI system, but he can show himself to be a human in human form, he said, at this palace down in Antarctica. I wonder if that's what Ed Dame saw.
You know, I wouldn't doubt it. I wouldn't doubt it. I mean, it could be that, or any numerous dark factions of factories that are on this planet. You know, I've done, like I say, regression. So I'll go too far into it, but you know, I did a regression. It was, gosh, I guess it's been about a year ago now. And the individual was getting, like your buddy, he was getting taken out of the gifted program. This individual.
Oh yeah, like our team. Yeah, the tag program.
And this was, and you know, I've talked to others about that, but I've known about that before, previous to even coming, before I came forward. Heard talks about that, people getting snatched out of gifted programs. But that happened to them, and then what they were doing is they were taken to an Air Force nearby, a field trip. You know, we all had field trips or in elementary, and they were like, out of 15 kids at this huge school in a huge city that got to do this, all right, there's only 3 that was taken, and got to do this special. And then there at this place, all sorts of things started going on. We talk about manipulating of timeline to make it seem like they were gone, not as long as they were. All sorts of things, screen memories. And I know pretty good at getting through the screen memories. So that is, you know, something that happens quite a bit. You know, a good friend of mine, Susan Manwich, and she's somebody I saw on that craft when I was young. One of those 7 people standing on that craft. And she talks about how somebody, she told me years ago, but she went public about it, saying that somebody tried to take her out of school. You know, it didn't go successfully, but you know how the people of the school let her go with this special principal who starts supposed to be driving her home, saying, "Have you seen any UFOs lately?"
Yeah, it's wild. I've heard lots of stories like that, and that's how a lot of these people that we know that are in the secret space program ended up there and stuff. So there is a very dark agenda going on where, you know, humans are being used in different programs, and I don't know. At this point, anything is possible too. And but what I'm actually pretty concerned about is all these people that we're seeing online on television during live events they look like they're glitching out, and it's not only like famous people, it's just regular everyday people. Maybe they're background people. Barry, you know what a background person is, right? It's
non-playable characters or backdrop people.
Like an NPC. You've done a video on NPCs.
Yeah. You know, there's 2 things with that. One is we have to be careful that we're not too obsessed with the Agent Smith thing, and everybody's an Agent Smith. You know, not saying it doesn't happen. And the other thing is you have these inorganic beings that can manipulate their assemblage point and do what we call shapeshifting. To them, it's natural, and they look like people a lot. And I mentioned might have been the live I did, when I had, you know, I did a video called Psychically Colorblind. And I did that because when I was a kid and younger, I thought I wasn't seeing. I couldn't see because when I look at people, I see this energy field around them. And it's very large. It goes about 6 feet outside of a person's body. And when you start really looking at them from a distance, most people have a general shape of like either a spherical, oval, or almost mushroom-like towards the top. But you see others like sometimes that have no type of energy field like that at all. You look at them, it looks like, you know, like distorted stuff or like weird, almost like something like a science fiction deal, like X's or some weird. And those aren't people. But when you look at them normally, they're standing in the crowd with others, and they normally come in 2s. Those are inorganic beings that are masquerading, at least to our perception, as normal people. And you got to watch those ones because they come in our dreamscape all the time. That other world I talked about, the other Earth, we have beings that land in that field of perception all the time, and we're unaware of it. We're barely catching the shadows and stuff. So we got to be aware of how much goes on Earth's twin right here with us. You know,
we do. Oh my gosh, I know. Right now is such a wild time because, like I said earlier, the veil is kind of gone right now, and the fact that I saw that old lady in my house this week, and insisted in crossing her over. I do believe it worked. I do believe she did cross over, and it was way easier than I ever thought something like that would be. But the point of that being is that right now this is a prime time for us to see things like this and to recognize it, to feel it on people. I mean, I've encountered at least I'm going to say several people who I don't believe are human. before in my lifetime. I've also experienced extraterrestrials, and that's something that I wanted to talk to you about today. We're going to get to this maybe towards the end of the show. I wanted to talk about that video that we've seen that belongs to Matt Delp of the orbs that turn into aliens, that shapeshift into aliens.
That's the most incredible things I've seen. That was a good one.
It's a good one. Well, I want to go back and talk about this other fella whose eyes they look like a chameleon lizard. Okay. I'm going to show, there's a video in the live chat for everybody to see this. It was on a famous YouTuber's live stream or something, and in a bar. But I want to talk about the orb we've seen on Matt's video is compared to the orb out of Mexico that turns into a man, because it's very similar, Barry. Okay, and you and I have witnessed this with our own eyes on a video, straight out of somebody's yard. Okay, well let's go to the next one, because I think we've talked enough about the guy at the rally. Okay, we don't know if we don't know what's going on there, y'all. Okay, but to me it seems pretty legit. Personally, I don't know. Like, the video quality seems legit. Okay, it's live. You can find this. You can find the full speech on. I have it right here. It's if you go to YouTube, go to KTNV channel 13. Okay, out of Las Vegas, I think, and they've got the full video there. It's from 2 months ago. You can watch it there. Okay. Now I did talk to my friend Trey. Watch me now. Okay, he's been on my show at Spaced Out Radio, and he has a media company. He talks about hoaxes. He's my go-to person to find out if something's a hoax online. He's really good at knowing that. He just did a show with Tony Merkel that they put out last week about hoaxing Bigfoot. Okay. So it seems as though it could be legit. Okay. The video could be legit, because I asked him his opinion on it, and he was like, yeah, he's like, it looks like we're in for a crazy time. Okay. With all of these people being revealed, it's like things are being revealed. It's almost like things that aren't real can't hide from us anymore. Okay. I know, right? So let's go to the next video. Okay. And the video is in the live chat, you guys. I'm only going to show still shots from it. Okay. This is from.
Oh, yes, this one. Oh.
Have you seen this? I want you to look at that guy's eyes.
I'm sorry. Yeah, I see this. Please keep talking, please. I gotta mute myself. I'm listening.
Okay. Mute yourself over there, Barry. This is wild, because this guy could be high. Okay. And I'm not calling this guy high. I'm just saying. Look at Barry. I'm glad that he's muted. This just seems like someone that could have some, could be in an altered state, let's just say. Could be. However, I've watched this video over and over and over and over again. And it's his eye. Okay, there's one eye. I want you guys to take a really good look at this one eye. It's his right eye. When he's turned around, okay, there's this YouTuber. His name is FusiTube or FauciTube. He's got 10.5 or 4 million subscribers on YouTube. Okay, so everybody knows this guy, except for I just found out about him today. But he's at a bar. They're filming a little segment at a bar. They're just chilling. This guy walks in, and he sits down beside them, and he's a little bit odd. He's not talking to anybody. He's looking around, and he looks at this Fauci guy, and he's like, hey man, the guy won't say anything. And I think a lady like offers them some cookies or something, because they're all just kind of weirded out by this guy. His energy was off. You could tell in the video. And at some point, the guy, I couldn't grab a screenshot because it happened so fast, of his eye. Okay, you got to watch the video of this. The guy's eye, it moves exactly like a chameleon. Okay, like how their eyes are like, and it's only one eye. So one eye stays one direction, and the other eye points down and all around. And maybe he's got a glass eye in the other eye. I don't know. Okay, it just seemed weird, and the fact that his energy was so off that it startled these people. And that the YouTube guy got up and like jumped out of his chair and was like, "Whoa, dude, what the heck's wrong with your eye?" And but anyways, it's another example, Barry. I know.
I'm sorry. It's the way the cat came and sat down. He said,
"All right."
It was.
It's really creepy.
I agree. It was very strange, but I mean. as far as like, yeah, I mean, the odd people you see, especially in big cities that come sit at the bars, you know, I wouldn't doubt it at all. So I'm not saying it's not real. It's just I can't help but laugh the way the cat looked. I mean, you just can't. You know, I mean, in a way that would noticeably freak everyone out. You know what I'm
I
saying?
can't even do my eyes like that.
Yeah, but at the end, the way the one eye moved up, I never seen a trick like that before. So
I haven't
I will say
either.
that.
I've never seen anything like that, and I've seen some weird stuff. I've seen some people that were high before. Okay, I'm not going to tell you about things I've seen, y'all. Okay, I've seen some weird stuff, and I've never seen this. I've never seen anything like that.
There is that brother that can hold his breath and make his eyes bulge out. Have you ever seen him?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yes.
maybe the guy's like that. That's the only thing I can say. But otherwise,
I admit,
yeah, it was weird, and it did look kind of. Now, does you point out chameleon-like? It did look a little chameleon-like.
It did, and it's just that one eye. Okay, so I want the audience to. You guys, please check out that video. It's in the live chat at the very top. It may be gone by now because I don't know how high up you can scroll, but it's in here. Go to FauciTube or FusiTube. And here, I think it's on this. Yeah, FOUSEY tube.
I can't look. I looked at the chat. I'm sorry. Somebody said, I just saw a guy that could inflate his neck. I've seen that too.
I know. Well, Katy, that's what I was talking about with Katy Perry. Katy Perry does that. But you know what? I think that is? I think that's, like when you sing. I don't know though, because they could be reptilians. They could be reptilians. I don't know. This is for entertainment purposes only. And this is pretty entertaining.
Was it Dizzy Gillespie that could?
Gillespie, yeah.
Out like a, yeah.
Like a chipmunk.
Yeah.
Or a squirrel. Yeah. It makes us wonder. It makes me question, we know there are shapeshifters among us. We do. I do. Are these reptilians? Okay, like what is it? The fact that his eye does exactly what a chameleon's eye does. That one eye. And and that's what chameleons can do that too, which is one eye. They keep one eye here, and then the other one goes like this.
Hey, did your friend think there was any CGI involved with that eye thing?
I didn't ask him about this one. I did send it to him though, but it was just weird. Yeah. Well, I was mainly inquiring about that first video. Okay, that was one because you can see it from different with the different filters and stuff on it too, and so this one right here, it's just weird. It's just weird.
But I have to ask this. What proof do we have that guy sitting right there is not somebody in the Actors Guild and an actor, and that this is not staged? I'm just throwing it out there, and that's something we really got to really pay attention to. And I'm not saying by any means that the demonic don't walk this planet. I mean, that's obvious. Look at the state this place is in. It doesn't take a genius or a psychic to figure that out. But how often we come into individuals who are not really truly human and appear to be is probably quite frequent. As for me, like I may not have had negative encounters, but I have had encounters with what I've called before the charters. And every 7 years they seem to show up for lifetime contactees. And every 7 years or so, you meet somebody who just comes out of the crowd and says something just heavy to you, something phenomenal. And you go, damn. And then they just step off back in the crowd. You don't see them more, and you don't know who they were when they, but that happens a lot to us that are contactees and just aware people. And, that happens in public places. You're at a bookstore or a gas station or a library, or especially an airport, or a bus station. Now they'll come up to you and then they're gone. Happens a lot. Yeah. I think the Christian Bible calls it, often people have interviewed or have entertained angels and been unaware of it. So we have angelics that do that, seraphim that walk around in human form. We have extraterrestrials that are human or humanoid, walk around in that form. And we've got others that are just not apparitions. What do you call it?
Holograms?
No, avatars.
Avatars. Yeah. Yeah. I did want to mention, I did send the first video to one of my insider friends. And I asked him, I said, what do you think about this video? Isn't this weird? And we're talking about this guy with his eyes. And he wrote me back. He said, just very matter of fact, he just said hybrid. And I said, well, a hybrid, what, like a reptilian? He goes, alien hybrid. He's like, they run our government. That's what he said. That's what he said. And I was like, okay. And so take that with a grain of salt, y'all. Okay, take it with a grain of salt. I'm just reporting back what I was told. But it could be why somebody's running us. Okay, somebody's running it, the machine. All right, so I just thought I'd point that out. Also, I do want to talk about this demon face syndrome, Barry. Are you familiar with that?
Heard about it, yeah.
Okay, the demon face syndrome. I'm going to try to pronounce this word. Okay, it is the prosopometamorphosopia. Okay, I know that's a mouthful. They call it PMO for short, also known as the demon face syndrome. It's a visual disorder characterized by altered perceptions of faces. In the perception of a person with the disorder, facial features are distorted in a variety of ways, including drooping, swelling, discoloration, and shifts of position. All right. I know that people get this, but could this just be an excuse, a cover up for people seeing hybrids true form and potentially demons and things right now, since the veil is so thin and the earth is changing? What do you think, Barry?
There's something I used to practice. It's called looking techniques and stop techniques. And one of them involves looking in a mirror. And when you do not blink your eyes, the eyes are the most active part of the body. And the most energy comes through the eyes of almost our whole body. So when you still the eyes, that energy has to immediately find a new pathway. And it's the third eye. So when you sit there and you really stare at the mirror for a long time, how many of you have done that and see what you really look like?
Ew.
You done that? You done that?
I don't know. I'm afraid Bloody Mary might show up if I stare too much.
Oh, it's a Candy Man. Since I'm your friend, baby, I prefer you say Candy Man. Yes, that's a great actor. Anyway, but he's even a better Klingon. Anyway, Tony Todd. Anyway, but you know, seriously, look, using that technique, that looking technique, that stop technique in the mirror. Often it was told when I learned that initially, people say that's what we really look like to a degree, especially if you're somebody from another perception or another realm or another awareness. Just food for thought, you know. But that right there, I wouldn't put it out at all that there's partial shape shifting wearing off or what it could be, you know, demonic possession that just has a holographic overlay. Who knows, you know?
Ooh, that's a good point, because, you know, we've got like screen memories. When we have an experience with an extraterrestrial. Now, what if these people, these beings are alien hybrids and they are able to put holographic images into our minds, you know, like the reptilian humanoids and stuff, and maybe they are glitching. Okay, glitching. We're talking, this show is called A Glitch in the Matrix. Everything's usually glitchy over here at some point during my shows. We're talking about real glitches in the Matrix, where it's like the Matrix is kind of like messing up right in front of us right here. That's what I think is going on. I don't know though.
I mean, it's important to remember that we're beings of perception. We're beings of awareness. And what we really do is respond to stimuli, stimuli of the universe. That's really what's going on here. And it, you know, I think that, like, the problem is, like, if we weren't being controlled by these predators who have given us their mind, that's really what they've done. You know, when the average person right now, like, you know, you have somebody that is a millionaire is scared to death that they're going to be hungry. That's because that's what the predator is, always in fear that it's going to be discovered and lose its meal. And that's that mindset they've given us, and why things are messed up down here like it is. You know, I mentioned before, I don't know if it was your show or if it was on this live, and I'm starting to get confused. I'm doing lives and talk too long, get all twisted up and twisted around. Anyway, but that, you know, we all have this luminous cocoon. I just talked about it a second ago, actually, this luminous cocoon. But when you look at a baby, a very young one, okay, they have not just a luminous cocoon, but they have this sheen around them, like this glow of awareness. And it's really bright. But then by the time the kid is like maybe 16 to 18, they still have the luminous cocoon, but that really bright sheen is gone, like to down around their feet at the bottom of their aura, kind of. Why? It's because those predators are eating it.
Oh.
The fact that we have that, for whatever reason, humans have this glow of awareness around their luminous cocoon. We are special, and that makes us food for predators of a higher level, that are higher, different dimension, different density, different. And I say that because some of those shadows are heavy. Some of those Chevy shadows like jump around. They're heavy. They're dense. Okay, so that's something. Just we have to think, and they do things like give us trauma and rile our emotions, so that they can keep feeding on what you call ruining Jolly Ranchers for me. Luce, yes, can't eat those anymore now. It's like I'm sucking somebody's energy or something. Eating the Jolly Rancher. It sounds like Luce.
With some fava beans and a nice Chianti.
Don't like the fire Jolly Ranchers, but anyway. But yeah, so but that way though, they flare our awareness, flare our emotions. They feed on us, and that's what they're doing. That keeps us in this level like that. Why there's so much war here, so much hate. That's the mind of the predator. That is the best strategy they could ever do, is give us their minds and make us think it's ours. And all of our thoughts are our own when they're not. So these are things that really we have to be really aware of. And what I'm saying basically stops us from being magical, stops this from being some type of a utopia, more like Star Trek's trying to show. It's the fact that we can't keep that glow of awareness we were children, babies. If we could keep that, this whole world would be different. Because the higher self, whatever you all want to call it, okay, the divine overself, the overself, the thought adjuster, that book, I like the superconscious, all these terms, but that part of us that is still with the creator is not just imperfection, it's positive. And it's what we really are as energy beings. We're actually positive. We've been cheated out of that.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Well,
I feel like I'm sitting up here like some sort of preacher or something. I'm sorry. I don't mean to go off like that.
Preach it, Barry. Preach it, Barry. I appreciate that. I have a question though. Like, how can we protect our children from these energy vampires? Like, is there anything that we can do as parents? I mean, I had a baby once. He's getting big now, but I still worry about him and protecting his energy from vampires.
Putting a luminous cocoon shield around them, the same way people shield themselves right now, putting that shield around your child. Okay. And also doing things that are actually sounds, positive sounds around them to keep that stuff off and keep them things off. The next is when they start growing a little bit, when you're molding their perception, letting them be aware of the predators and how the predators feed. Once they know, knowledge is power. Knowledge is power. And once you know how they feed, what they do to get energy off you can start changing it. And when you start teaching a kid, like as young as your son, even younger or around that age, or always, it changes things. But the problem is this society is not, at least here in the United States, we're not really taught to put a cocoon of light around your kid when it's in the incubator room.
I know, right? Because we're too worried about other stuff, like trying to keep all the toxins out of our kids that they're trying to inject into them and stuff right when they're born. A lot of crazy stuff.
Mm-hmm. I'm giving a little bit of information here that I really shouldn't. All right, because I've done the work, so I know. All right, is that when dealing with a client, a lot of times I'll do an Earthbound Spirit release before I'll do a past life regression. You know why? Because you pick up those Earthbound Spirits when you're in the incubator room or something. They've been with you always, and then you're going through a regression with somebody, a hypnotist, and they think that that's their life. This Earthbound Spirit that may have been hanging around Earth for hundreds of years. The last one I did a few days ago. This was an individual that comes back to me monthly for 3 years now. We've done a lot of work together. So they know how to protect themselves. They do other stuff too. They're very advanced, okay? Like most of the people in this group are A lot of them don't give themselves credit, but a lot of advanced people. So they know how to protect themselves. But they've been all over the world lately, and they picked one up. And this one, when I do what identification, I ask, when, not just how did you die, but when, where, and when. This one, 1726.
Oh my gosh.
So they're from Louisiana. From Louisiana, 1726. I started scratching my head, and when we're doing this, I'm getting on my phone, kind of looking up, when did Louisiana actually become a state and be called that? And it said 1861 or something, but then it started saying, but it was actually called that as far back as like 16 something. And it would go right during the time this individual was saying. And they said because at first I didn't pick it up. They said that they died delivering a telegram. And I'm thinking like there must be like Uber or something, or maybe one of those singing people with the flowers, the balloons.
Oh, no.
That's what I kind of thought, but no, they're talking about being like a bike carrier and getting hit by something like a train or something, some deal like that. But it's really a trip. So it could be very easily that individual that had been with that person since they were 8 years old. They told me, I jumped in the hospital, but I was trying to help them. They weren't breathing right, so I was trying to help them breathe. Yeah. But they've been with them always.
I always have to take into consideration too is like our history is not what we're told to. I think in general it is what we've been taught, but then there's like some timeline deception, and there's some chunks that we're missing out of our history books. And so when we're dealing with things like remote viewing and with speaking to passed on people like spirits and stuff, things don't always add up because it's not what we've been taught. Okay. And so we have to kind of take that into consideration too. That's all.
Let me ask you a question.
Okay.
That lady that you just crossed over out of your house, do you think she ever tried to jump you and join you, or try to jump your son?
I don't think me or my son, maybe my, I don't want to say my mom or something, but I don't know. We'll see. There could have been, maybe so. I mean, I always keep a really close eye on my son. Okay. And I don't think so. I don't think so with him. She might have with me. I don't know. I don't think so though. I've never felt that.
Do you think she was trying is my question though more?
She probably has, I'm sure. I'm sure probably. She seemed pretty chill, but she has shown herself to me once. Okay, when I was in the kitchen one morning, and I turned around, it was startling because she was about a little bit taller than my son. And was wearing a robe, like she was just chilling in the house, like making her some breakfast right behind me. So, but it was only for a split second, but I definitely saw her, and I felt her there, and my son will not be in the house by himself, especially when it's dark. He's not comfortable. We live in a really old house, by the way, super old. Yeah, it's got a lot of history behind it.
That doesn't help.
We're talking about it's like 150 years old or something. It's really old, and there's been a lot of people that lived here. So yeah, it's old. The land is old. All that kind of stuff. But I don't feel like there's anything else there or here. But she was there, and I've felt her presence ever since we moved here, for sure.
Mm-hmm. It's interesting you bring that up about your son. A lot of us, some of us have a big testicular fortitude, or pretend we do, but when we're little kids, we're all scared of the dark. A lot of us. Yep. And you know why? Monsters in the dark.
Yes.
And it's not, and that's just something we innately think of before somebody starts telling you about monsters. You even learn about them. The dark and monsters seem to come together. And I'm going to tell you, and that's because as children, we're aware of these predators. A lot of us can see them, and they're scary as heck, so we filter it out. For me, when it really got down, I was doing these things I was trying to get that OBE. I was trying to astral project because my oldest brother can do it, just not voluntarily, but it happens to him a lot. And he's taking off, going out there. He's one of those people. And I was like, man, I can do all this other stuff. How come I can't do the OBE? So I was doing all this stuff trying to trigger the OBE. And what it did was alter the way that I saw through my third eye, my spiritually. And I started seeing, instead of what I normally see, I started seeing those shadows. I've talked about them before. The ovals, and the bigger ones, ovals, and the small circles. They're real fast. You can see in my peripheral.
Mm-hmm.
I started learning how to trace them through my regular eyes, you know, not just peripheral, which is in black and white, no matter what people think. That's why you can see that. But you know, I had somebody that was practicing one of those Toltec systems. They had me come over to kick it a little bit, and they're older than me. I went over, and they've been studying a lot, and they're very intelligent, had a lot of knowledge. So we sit and just chop it up. I get over there, the individual, we're in a room that all the stuff is blacked out. The windows, there's one light, and this cat turns the light off in there.
Oh, wow.
And there's nothing by what the stuff we
Creepy.
should have been doing you could see by, and that ain't nothing. You know, and I start seeing the shadows out of my peripheral in a blackened room. Okay.
Oh, gosh.
And I became
That's creepy.
Yes, exactly. I became uncomfortable. I was about
Yeah.
to tell this brother, hey man, you got to turn that light back on. What the hell's wrong with you? You know, and then
No.
then he says to me, he says, I knew you'd be able to, you've got a lot of freed energy, and you can see already. I knew you'd see them, but right now you're really not looking at them. They're always all around.
Gosh.
So I started kind of looking harder, and that's when I saw one they called it jumped, hurled across the air. You know,
Oh,
big
no.
one, and a big one, and I could hear it go boom, and it was huge. I could hear it land. And that's why I jumped. I say, I had enough of this. I put that light on. I don't care what this brother's doing. I turned that light on. And he would talk because you heard it, didn't you? I said, yeah, I heard it. He goes, they're dense. They're very dense. And those are the ones that those are the ones you don't want to battle or try to get rid of. Just change your energy field so they can't mess with you. And they've been called jumpers. They're also called flyers.
Oh man. Well, you know what I used to see when I was a kid were orbs, and I just noticed that we're running out of time, so we got to cover this real quick before we go today. Because speaking of kids, I got to go get mine from school today, and we got to get ready for Halloween tomorrow, of course. So there's another video, Barry, of because I'm seeing a lot of shape-shifting videos, and that it usually involves an orb. Now, I personally have experienced a lot of orbs out in the field doing Bigfoot research. I've even seen orbs that shoot across the tree line, and then there's like a Bigfoot gruff, or like a howl, like a what do you call it? A huff, okay, and a growl. Well, there's this one. Okay, there's a video. It's in the live chat, y'all. If you scroll up to the top, I'll put it in the comments after the show today as well. But there's this video. It's out of Mexico. And it shows what appears to be, well, actually it starts off like this. See there's a little light ball over there by Barry on that side underneath right by that bush, a little tiny bright light. Now, if you watch the video, the light kind of bounces up and down, and it goes in a linear movement, okay, across this field. And then as it gets to about this area right here, where it's at, okay, right, see where my finger is right here, like over on Barry's side. When it gets about right there, it literally turns into a man. Okay, this is a weird video, y'all, and it seems to be pretty legit. Okay, and but this is not the first one of its kind. I have seen plenty of these videos online that look like they're like CCTV videos, just like the one that you and I watched with the orb that turned into the ETs. Okay, what's up with this, Barry? What is it?
Two things. You know, one is that you have those that were considered sorcerers, the ancients, that had the special clause in death, which was they did not die. They turned into inorganic beings that were extremely capable of extreme feats of awareness, and including manifesting themselves into their dream body, into physical body, to appear as physical bodies as that one. So that's one thing you could be seeing there, a being that is capable of doing that, whether it be an ancient or a being that's been here a long time, you know. And then the other is what we saw with our friend's video, which is that orb come down, and then all of a sudden you've got those, what look like almost a type of grays running around. But the way they were moving, you know, to me, they were moving like insects, ants, very fast. Yes.
Very unnatural. And
Yeah.
you know what? I'm going to bring Matt on the show one day. I'm going to make him show us that video. Okay, one day. I'm going to force him. Okay.
No one will forget it. No one will forget it.
No, they won't, because we never have. We you and I talk about it all the time. And he does show it at conferences when we're live. He's going to be in Molina, y'all. And I can promise you, if you come to the Molina Bigfoot Festival on November the 9th, and if you come to the library, we're going to be at the library in Molina. It's in Zebulon, Georgia, the night before. That's on a Friday, on November the 8th. Matt will be there. I promise you he will have that video there. I know we will. And he'll show it. So y'all come down and see that video. It is mind-blowing. But it looks similar to what we're watching right here when you watch the video of this. But when those aliens turn out, okay, so it's like a silver ball. It looks like it's metallic. And this one right here is more like an orb of light. Okay, it's more of like a light orb. The one that we saw looked like a metallic ball. And when it hit the ground, the alien, it turned into an alien, like a great, but its head was like big, and it was running with its legs out in front of it. It was so weird. And now this is a video that Matt, one of Matt's best friends had, who worked with, I think she was the head of MUFON, maybe out of Tennessee. She was a member of MUFON for sure. And she's passed away now. And Matt promised her, she asked him to never show it publicly because, you know, this is something that she was actually scared. Well, she was scared about it. She was scared about it, about showing it.
Well, I mean, that's how I met Matt Delph. I went with you to his presentation, which was really good. He hit some things that most people in the Bigfoot community probably don't like. He's really real. And then he pulled us over. We went over and watched that video. I showed it like 2 or 3 times. I said they're literally flabbergasted. I was like, what? I was like, why in the world have you not shown this? And he told me, but you know, something that I don't want to mention the name because it seems to trigger some people. But one of the several whistleblowers that's talked to me one-on-one told me, when I asked him, I said, man, isn't that large white draconian with the wings, is that you? And they told me that whole story. But then after that, they said, that's not the only one, like big one like that I've seen. They said, I've seen another one, but then it got like transported or something. That's what he mean. He said this orb came up. He said the orb is no more than, an orb like this, and this huge reptilian compacts like that, like squeezes together like that, and then jets into this orb.
Yeah.
And they started saying that those are the ships, that they're from a different dimension, and that's the ships they actually use and the way they appear here for whatever reason, on top of their ability to morph. But that's similar to a person that can actually operate the dream body cognitively. They can mold the dream body, doesn't have the same physical parameters of this one. So one thing you can do with the dream body is to form it into an orb, into a sphere, which is much more capable for intergalactic travel and interdimensional travel, multidimensional travel. So that's what we're dealing with a lot. And I've said that before, that goes in the quantum hologram thing, why people are seeing faces inside those orbs. That's why. It's using that whole quantum hologram thing.
I've seen faces in orbs. I have pictures of a bunch of orbs up at Corpsewood Manor in North Georgia, up in Tryon, where I talk about that place a lot. And we went up there about just like 10, 12, 11 years ago. And the pictures, one of the orbs had a man's face with a mustache. Mm-hmm. It was weird. And it wasn't just like, what do you call that, pareidolia or whatever. It wasn't that. Like, it really had a man's face in it. So,
and then there's the other thing too, that the other remote viewer, I think, that is as credible like you are. Sorry, but not everybody calling themselves a remote viewer these days is credible. People need to pay attention to that. Anyway, they had mentioned that when you deal with some of these portals on the other side, especially like the other Earth, whatever you want to call it, you've got actually like thousands of entities that are trying to squeeze through all at once. So it's like you and me both trying to put our head through a ketchup bottle. Very difficult. But when those that actually manage to squeeze through, for whatever scientific reason, when they emerge in this dimension, they emerge in collective consciousness form of an orb or a sphere. That's what John Vivinko had said. Oh. And I thought that was pretty interesting,
It is. Kent, he has a really interesting comment right here. He says, a friend of mine and his wife who live in Oregon said they have seen people literally going up into the sky and disappearing. These people are not the crazy type either. That's like, do you remember that movie? Did you ever see that show? It's actually a series called The Leftovers. That's a crazy show. It's almost like the Rapture kind of or something, and people just go missing out of this town without a trace. And the people who are left, some of them are like chain smokers and stuff. And yeah, now it just came out that like a cure for something that will, I don't know if it cures it or what, but you know, like the COVID is nicotine. It keeps you from getting it or something. I don't know. I don't know if it's connected to that show, but it's just weird. That could have been like some predictive programming.
I know some people,
So,
big time smokers, they still got it. What happened there?
I know, right? I know. Who knows?
But yeah, but as far as that, you know, I wouldn't doubt it, you know, and are they actual people is the question, you know.
Are they regular people? That's right.
Yeah. And so that, you know, and two, you know, and then also when you start going back, looking at some of the early Sasquatch reports, you start hearing that what they're saying right there, seeing them going up in the sky like that, disappearing, you know. Right about the time. That's why people claim that's why their tracks just stop. Yeah,
that's true. Well, yeah, you know, when I remote viewed somebody that just got sucked up into the air one time, and I talked about that on air, and it was Tex from Texas Front Porch when he had me. I'd remote viewed some missing time that he had out at Brown Springs, Oklahoma, and he never knew what happened, and I had remote viewed it, and I saw him get sucked. It was like a thunderbolt or like a lightning bolt struck, and he was sucked up into the air. And I watched it, and he was taken into a craft though, and so that happens. And yeah, there's that really cool. There's a couple of videos beam. Like that.
That's some type of a stasis beam, and what it means is the ship was just beyond visible sight. But that's a stasis beam. There's different ways they take people in. Yeah. And you know, that I think has a lot to do with why some of the missing 411 people, especially when you hear about those that just get dropped, for whatever reason, they just get dropped. Yeah. I mean, that I think has a lot to do with that too, you know, and it's just because they take you up easy don't mean they put you down easy.
Yeah. I love it. We have the best audience over here. We got the best live chat going on. Today is no different. Oh, Kent says that's right. He said nicotine did help with COVID or the flu, I should say. Yeah, no, right.
Well, yeah, could you give us some links to that? I like to read the papers that prove that.
I've heard that. So no, I've been hearing that a lot. It's nicotine. It doesn't mean like you need to go chain smoke. It could be any kind of like tobacco or something. I don't know. And I'm not saying y'all need to go chew tobacco. Okay, I'm not saying that. Don't do anything that's going to harm your body in any way, but it's just, I mean, maybe they make nicotine pills. I don't know. Or those nicotine patches.
Yeah. I'm not talking about no nicotine or tobacco, and especially not chew on your show. All those people got mad at me when I started talking about that Bigfoot that the guy got away because he gave them some.
He blew snuff.
He
blew snuff in his face.
I said, oh, was it Big League Chew? And the people got really mad about that. That's why I said,
oh my God. My dad used to chew tobacco. I remember when I was a kid. Yeah. It's not just a Southern thing. I mean, I used to know old ladies that would chew tobacco and stuff. So
you know, never again. When I was a kid, my friend was kind of country cat. We did that. And he didn't tell me you're not supposed to swallow something. I swallowed a little bit of it. And I've never been so sick in my life. I'd never touched that again. Oh my God. Jeez, I've been better off with Big League Chew.
Big League, is that Big League? Isn't that bubble gum? I thought that was bubble gum. Okay,
that's why I said they give that to Bigfoot, and people got mad. Is that how the guy escaped? He gave a bunch of Big League Chew, so people got really bad. So, how can he make fun of that story? So there's nothing that says that story is true.
Oh man, I don't know. Well, I mean, today it's hard to decipher even what's real and what's not, and like what is real anymore. I don't even know. I don't know anymore because we're seeing things like the shapeshifters that are here, and even this with the CGI mixed in. I just don't know. I just know keep your head on a swivel and your heart wide open. I've said that every show since I said that the other day. I love that. We got to just be aware of your surroundings. And if something feels off, listen to your gut. Okay. And if it doesn't feel good, just like that guy in this video at the bar, as soon as this Fauci tube saw that, he jumped back and got up and was like, okay, there's something wrong with this dude. There's something wrong here.
Sorry.
And the guy's like, his eyes like all over, like looks up and down, and the other one just stays still. And it's like, okay, well, maybe, I don't know. It don't look natural. It just don't look natural. But just be aware of your surroundings. There is something that they're calling the demon face syndrome now, coming to a town near you. And so just be ahead of the curve, y'all. Just be ahead of the curve. Know what's coming, know what's here. And you be the resident expert on this stuff when it comes around. Okay. You guys know about it. So you can explain to the normies what's going on one day, I guess. Yeah. Right, Barry?
Hey, as far as although that deal there makes me laugh. I'm sorry. Just the way the guy said, the way he's looking, everybody's like, it just made me laugh. I'm sorry. But as far as they're like being demon that walk around this planet, I have no doubt about that. I think both in physical form and non-physical form. So that part I'm not laughing at. Okay. Whether that is one, I don't know. But so that part I want people to think I'm taking not seriously. But just some of these things that come out on social media, though, you just got to watch them. It's pretty, you've got all these setups and, aliens at the mall that no one saw, no one could prove, hundreds of cop cars. But I talked to several people that lived there. Nobody saw anything. How does that work like that? That's
weird. It is weird. It is. Oh, Kent, thank you. I appreciate that. Thank you for the super sticker, and thank you for being here today. You're always awesome seeing in the chat. Everybody has been fantastic in this chat today. We kept it pretty low key. It wasn't too outrageous today with all this. I mean, this conversation could have gone left field at some point, but it didn't. This is really weird. I know what we're talking about is weird. I thought it'd be a great topic for our Halloween discussion today. We got Halloween tomorrow night. I didn't want to make it too gruesome. We're just going to keep it weird. Okay. Hey, this is weird.
My oldest brother lived in LA for like 16 years. And he lived in Hollywood for a while. He pumped gas at a gas station there. He said, you've never seen anything in your life like Hollywood on Halloween. People that work at McDonald's are all makeup artists. This is everybody. And he said some of them look so good that you'd want, is that makeup? He said, that's the day that I think that really you do have those people walking around normal population.
I think so too. I know. So y'all, please be careful tomorrow night. I'll be out trick-or-treating for a little bit with my kid. And we're gonna keep it pretty sane. Y'all know I'm gonna protect this. I'm his security guard. Okay, I'm the undercover security out there. But it is a time. And also, Barry, you and I both know that people who practice the dark arts are doing a lot of rituals and stuff around Halloween, and the portals are open and the veil is thin. So just please do some extra protection, say some extra prayers, and make sure that you're covered in the light, no matter where you go and what you do, even when you go to bed at night. Take care of yourselves, y'all. Okay, take care of yourselves. We're living in weird times. Very weird times. All right, Barry. Where can people find you, Barry? Tell everybody about your YouTube channel and your Patreon.
I'm on Patreon, but I'm probably about to shut that down. But I'm on YouTube under Barry Litteton. You can find me there. If anybody wants to schedule a session, talk about that, or figure out exactly what it is I do, you can email me at barrylittleton13@gmail.com. I normally get back to people within a day.
Awesome. Yeah, y'all, please. We've got a lot of good testimonies that even people in the chat today were in here have used your services before and had regressions and things with you. And yeah, big. You got the fan club going on in here today, Barry, for sure. And so yeah, so I love it when Barry's on too. Okay, I see y'all in the chat. So Barry, thank you for being here today. Do you have any big plans for Halloween? What are you doing? You gonna hand out candy or anything?
Somebody's over there talking about Michael Knight. Anyway, sorry, I see weird stuff. That'd be you get a Knight Rider for Halloween. That'd be great. Actually, I don't know. Everything's changed because you got people that poison candy now for kids. That started our generation. No. So like everybody takes their kids to the mall now, don't they, or something like that?
Trunk or treat. So you can go to trunk or treat. I might take my kid to a trunk or treat at the old folks home, actually, where my grandmother's and her friends are hanging out. So we might go do that. I'm sure he's gonna be really excited.
Wait,
But
what's he going to be for Halloween? What's he going to be?
Well, he was. Oh God! So yesterday he got to dress up. He got to dress up at school as in a costume. So he was a rapper. He was a rapper. He was. I'm just going to say he was a rapper from. I'm not going to say what. But it was from Compton, Compton. Okay, everybody thought he was like Eminem or Justin Bieber. He said so. He was a little disappointed. But one of the teachers did guess that he was Ice Cube, so he was like he felt good about it. He had the whole outfit and everything. He was looking good. He was looking fly. But tomorrow night he's going to be Arthur, somebody from Red Dead Redemption, the video game. Red Dead Redemption 2, Arthur Morgan is his name. We've got everything. We've worked weeks on his outfit, and we're even going to give him a beard and everything tomorrow. So y'all stay tuned. I'll post a picture. I've superimposed him over the Red Dead Redemption banner. So it's actually kind of cool. That game is based off Clint Eastwood, I think. So he's a kind of a cowboy, a gunslinger, like his mama. Okay.
Dirty Harry was some good movies. Oh, Dirty Harry. Yeah. Those good movies.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
That's cool.
So,
look at it this way. At least it's a rapper. At least they didn't ask him if he was Vanilla Ice. He did all right.
He didn't know. Well, he doesn't know who Vanilla Ice is. I know, right? His teacher that was cooler to be like, are you Ice Cube? And he was like, oh, you're close. So, but anyways, yeah, he was looking good, and he memorized a couple of songs and stuff. I was like, clean version, please. Okay. But you know my kid, he's wild. He's wild. So, but yeah, it was awesome. And so yeah, so everybody have a wonderful Halloween, and Barry, you too, have a safe Halloween out there too. And I hope you guys
do the same, and you guys have a lot of fun. Everybody
thank you.
Have a good one. Definitely.
Yeah, Moondog guessed it. He wanted to be Easy, actually. So don't ask y'all. I know, right? Of all the rappers, why that? But that's who he wanted to be. So
how did you even know who that is? Have you been infecting your child, Jones?
TikTok or something. I don't know. Yeah. I actually started liking him when I was 10. So it's really odd, actually, that he discovered him. So
hey, y'all need to be
all right, on that note.
One.
On that note, I gotta go pick him up. Y'all have a great day. I will see y'all tomorrow night, 8 p.m. Eastern, here with a remote viewing show. I don't know the target yet. I've been working on this with Arkeem. He gave me a really cool target. He promises me that it's definitely Halloween based, and it's going to be a super positive, good target. So we're gonna be back at 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 Pacific tomorrow. All right, y'all have a great day. I'm sending all my love and light. Keep your head on a swivel, y'all, and stay safe out there. We'll see y'all tomorrow night. All right. See you, Barry.
Hey.